Welcome to Animania Chronicles, where we dive deep into the captivating worlds of anime, dissecting stories, unraveling characters, and sharing our passion for all things animated. In this fourth installment of our review series on the rising of the Shield Hero, we dive deeper into Naofumi's struggles as he confronts overwhelming challenges. With powerful enemies closing in and dark magic lurking in the shadows, Naofumi's journey takes a darker turn. Stay tuned as we break down the key moments and character developments that make this part of the series a pivotal chapter in the Shield Hero's saga. He demanded to know why they were stalking him. The lead knight told him that they wished to join his team and fight by his side when the waves return. Naofumi told them to leave him alone and said they could just fight on their own when the waves arrived. However, another knight told him that they were from the nearby village he had saved during the last waves, and that his desire to save their family had inspired them all to become brave. Unmoved by their speech, Naofumi told them he would only accept them into his team if they bought his old item for 50 times the usual price, saying it was their only shot at earning his trust. The leader told him they would find the money somehow, even if they had to sell their kidneys. That evening, with the knights gone, Naofumi told the smith that he could see a strange symbol on Raphtalia and Filo's stats and wondered what it meant. The smith told him it meant they were qualified to have a class upgrade. He said that the upgrade allows them to increase their level cap, but that it could only be done by the church as they had the power of the hourglass. The following day, Naofumi remembered there was an hourglass inside the church that could make the upgrade and told Raphtalia to make up her mind on what she wanted. He told her his opinion was irrelevant since he would be returning to his own world once the waves were completely over. Raphtalia was shocked by the news, afraid she would never see him again. When they arrived inside the church, they learned that the upgrade was expensive enough to buy them a yacht. Naofumi wondered just how many girls he would have in his harem if he had one. Deciding to man up, he told Raphtalia to step up for her own upgrade and paid the money as requested. However, a lady appeared and told him they were forbidden from upgrading anyone from his group. Apparently, the outrageous fee was merely to scare him away. But with Naofumi proving that he was determined, they realized they had no more lies to tell. The lady showed him a direct order from the king. Disappointed that the king just wouldn't leave him alone, Naofumi took back his money. A few hours later, they arrived at the slaver's tent. When the merchant wondered why they had come, Naofumi asked if he could upgrade their class. The man told him he had no such ability, but said they could get it done in another country since other countries also have their own hourglasses. He recommended a faraway country, but told them it would take a few weeks to arrive by boat. However, with the waves fast approaching, Naofumi thought it would take too long to arrive there, so the man suggested they equip themselves in the meantime. After doing so, Naofumi wondered how they could put Filo's new talents to the test. The merchant directed them to the city's sewers. As they made their way further down the sewers, they came across a monster crocodile, and Naofumi managed to block its attack. Immediately, Raphtalia slashed its tail, but when it tried to eat her, Filo kicked it away, allowing Raphtalia to stab it before Filo ripped it apart. With the monster dead, they realized their new weapons were worth every penny. That night in their room, Naofumi began rolling up a bandage over Raphtalia's wound. With 10 days left before the arrival of the waves, he hoped she would be completely healed before then. Recalling his earlier words, Raphtalia decided to ask if she could follow him to his own world after the waves had ended, afraid she would become useless once he was gone. However, she did not know that even in his own world, Naofumi felt he was a nobody and that no one cared about him. As she tried telling him that she was already in love with him, Filo woke up, wondering why she wasn't invited for a threesome. Raphtalia tried telling her they were only having a heart-to-heart, but Filo wouldn't believe it and demanded they restart the conversation. Naofumi screamed at them that he was tired already. A few days later, they arrived in a devastated city, and Naofumi wondered if everyone was already dead. After arriving deep inside the city, they found only a few surviving people. One told them they were refugees of a war. Another man told Naofumi that group of adventurers had formed a resistance group that led the war to take down their corrupt lord. However, their lives had only grown worse afterward, as there was no ruler to watch over the city. Hearing his words, Naofumi realized the leader of the adventurers must have been Itsuki. After they returned to their city, they decided to grab lunch inside a restaurant, but they soon noticed Itsuki and Ren sitting on the far side. A member of Itsuki's team told him they received a request from the Adventurers Guild to eliminate a town lord who had placed heavy taxes on his people so he could form an army of his own. When Itsuki agreed to carry out the request, Naofumi accidentally spat his drink at Filo, thinking Itsuki was useless. Realizing he was probably laughing at them, Itsuki and Ren approached his table, but Naofumi told them that they looked worse than clowns. Itsuki said that a stranger had been impersonating them and stealing their jobs, and for some reason, he thought that Naofumi was the impersonator. Naofumi was having none of it and began asking Itsuki why he abandoned the devastated city after getting rid of their lord. While talking to the survivors, Naofumi had learned that the resistant army that eliminated the corrupt lord had turned even worse and had doubled the taxes without caring for the people. Naofumi told Itsuki that his attempt to create equality in the city had only made everything worse. He also informed Ren that the dragon he slayed had caused an epidemic that killed several villagers because he failed to incinerate it properly. Naofumi told them that he had to help them do their jobs, and their recklessness had cost many lives. Having no further desire to waste his breath, he began to leave. Even when Itsuki said he didn't believe anything Naofumi said, he merely ignored him. That evening, as they were about to leave the smith's shop, the young warriors appeared before them. The leader told Naofumi that they had managed to save up all the money he asked for. So he gave them the item as agreed, but told them to buy better weapons with the money they earned. As he accepted them into his team, the system revealed all their stats, but he threatened to kick them out if they snitched on him. With the next wave only 24 hours away, he suggested they begin plotting a strategy for the battle. By the following day, they were all ready for the war, and Naofumi had stocked up enough medicine for the wounded. As he gave Raphtalia a custom-made bracelet, he told her it was imbued with a spell that would boost her mana generation. She told him she liked it. When Filo grew jealous and demanded her own gift, Naofumi gave her a special hairpin, telling her that it would increase her agility. As she grew excited, she transformed into a bird, and Naofumi thought it looked perfect on her. At that moment, the time began counting down, and they vanished instantly. When they arrived in a new village, they realized the wave had already invaded the place. 2 knights slayed a monster before it could kill a villager. As they began to think the battle was over, a monster lizard appeared and tried to eat them, but it was knocked aside. Raphtalia sliced it before Filo bashed it with kicks, killing it instantly. Just then, they noticed an older lady kicking and bashing the monsters. When she was done, she thanked Naofumi for saving her life, and he remembered that he had revived her with his healing potion. As she kicked another monster, she told them that she was an adventurer and said that killing them was basically a cakewalk. When Naofumi wondered how much longer they would have to keep fighting, the lead knight suggested he find a way to destroy the waves before the entire village was destroyed. As Naofumi and the girls began running towards the portals, they spotted a ghost ship. At the same time, Itsuki and Ren eliminated the surrounding monsters. When Naofumi demanded to know where the others were fighting, Itsuki told him they were on the ghost ship. Filo immediately flew onto the ship and even higher so they could have a better view of everyone. Before their eyes, Ren sliced the skull captain, but it returned to life and started fighting again. As Ren and Itsuki backed into each other, Ren suggested they eliminate the skull captain first. Before they knew it, Naofumi appeared before them, but Itsuki was not impressed and told him to leave. Ignoring his useless remark, Naofumi told them that the only way to stop the monsters from reappearing was by ending the wave. By instinct, Naofumi blocked the captain and pushed it off, saying that they were supposed to fight together, not separately. Just then, the captain attacked him, but he managed to shield himself, telling them to quit bickering. As Naofumi checked the captain's stats, he wondered how he could lure out the Soul Eater without killing the zombie. At that moment, he noticed the zombie's shadow and told Raphtalia to cast her light magic on it. Raphtalia began casting the spell, and as a bright light revealed the shadows, Naofumi told her to kill it. She stabbed it without hesitation. Immediately, a spirit flame rose towards the sky, and Ren swiftly stabbed another shadow. As more spirit flames rose high over the ship, they soon realized they were surrounded by the Soul Eaters. Before their eyes, the spirits rose towards the sky and united as a dimensional Soul Eater. At the sight of this, everyone wondered if they could actually kill it. Immediately, Ren, Itsuki, and Naofumi unleashed a powerful combo attack on the beast, but it was unscathed. Realizing they were hopeless, Naofumi told Filo to cast her wind magic. She managed to knock it with a tornado, but even so, the Soul Eater remained unfazed and began to prepare an attack of its own, making them fear the attack would be lethal. Ren and Motoyasu began charging towards the Soul Eater, but Naofumi thought it was a terrible idea and protected Raphtalia and Filo from the mighty blast that rocked the ship. As the Soul Eater prepared an even greater blast that could annihilate them all, Filo activated a new power and started bashing it from side to side, drawing its attention elsewhere and causing it to lose its aim entirely. At once, Raphtalia tried slaying it, and Filo began smashing it, narrowly escaping its jaws each time. Seeing the monster's life decreasing, Naofumi thought they might have a chance at defeating it, but he was afraid that the village would be destroyed before it was over. Desperate to eliminate it, Naofumi told Raphtalia that he would unleash his rage shield in hopes of taking it down at once. She reminded him that she was his sword and was willing to follow him to the ends of the earth. At that moment, he summoned his rage shield, and the energy from the light began to consume him. Inside his consciousness, he realized that the dragon's soul was alive in his shield, and as a grown-up skill was activated, his shield and armor upgraded as he began to burn with the dragon's rage. When the other heroes noticed his new power, they wondered if he had met up with the devil or some dark spirit. Before they knew it, Filo was overtaken by a powerful rage, and she took down the monster with a kick, allowing Naofumi to burn it, determined to turn it to ash. At the sight of this, Mine began telling everyone that Naofumi was a wild beast unfit to be a hero, but Raphtalia called her useless and wondered why the other heroes were not offering him any support since he was fighting for their entire world. Just then, the pirate and Ren appeared behind Naofumi, but Ren slayed the pirate with his crimson sword, and Itsuki launched his thunder shot at Ren. Realizing their only hope of defeating the monster was by working together, Motoyasu finally agreed to help out, and Naofumi jumped away from the monster, looking to utilize the opening. They began striking the Soul Eater at the same time, and Motoyasu stabbed it with his spear, but it still rose up and seemed practically unkillable. Meanwhile, in Naofumi's consciousness, he continued fighting his rage, but as Raphtalia appeared beside him and told him that she believed in him, the rage vanished. At that instant, he remembered that he had promised to protect her and Phil always, and he realized that the rage shield was causing them more harm than good. Right then, he unlocked a new skill and trapped the beast inside a shield prison. When it tried breaking out of the prison, he caused iron rods to impale it and began casting a spell. At that moment, the Iron Maiden appeared in the sky and accepted the shield prison, shutting its doors on it. As it vanished, the monster began descending into the abyss, finally dead. With the monster gone, Naofumi fell from exhaustion, and Philo followed suit, wondering what happened. As the other heroes grew jealous of his victory, Motoyasu vowed to have the upper hand next time, but Philo called him a sore loser. As Naofumi noticed a mysterious presence around them, another Soul Eater appeared before them, and Ren thought that this was not in the video game. As it roared for their meat, a flurry of light arrows rained down on it, killing it instantly. Just then, a lady descended before them, dispelling all traces of the monster and declaring that Naofumi alone was deserving of the title. She introduced herself as Glass and said that she was their enemy. Using his appraisal, Naofumi discovered that she was a high-ranking human and thought they were probably hopeless in defeating her in a fight. Immediately, they surrounded her and unleashed another powerful combo that should have destroyed every bit of her body. But not a scratch was made on her. She wondered if that was all they had and then revealed a power of her own. She cast a reverse spell and blew them away with a mighty wind, leaving Naofumi as the last man standing. With the others in shock from her powers, Naofumi decided to drink a soul-soothing potion that would recover his SP. Immediately, he trapped her inside a shield prison, but she destroyed it in an instant and swiftly blocked Raphtalia's attack before blowing Philo aside. As she cast wind magic, Naofumi managed to protect Raphtalia, and serpents flew out to restrain Glass on Naofumi's command. Philo attacked her with a relentless assault, but she merely cast her away. Just then, Raphtalia tried to end her, but Glass blocked and destroyed her sword instantly. As Glass prepared for a new attack, Naofumi commanded Raphtalia and Philo to his side and summoned a shield prison to protect them, managing to survive the onslaught of her attacks but passing out afterward. With Raphtalia's support, Naofumi decided to summon the dark power possessing Philo with the same rage. Immediately, Philo began charging at the enemy, aiming with a kick, but Glass caught her and threw her aside like useless trash before blowing her away like a stuffed animal. Naofumi tried running closer, but she cast wind magic to stop him before igniting in flames. In an instant, she put out the fire, telling him that his flame was too cold for her. To show more of her powers, Glass launched a shell cracker that penetrated Naofumi's shield and destroyed his armor. Even so, he continued to stand, and she thought that he was truly deserving of being called the shield hero. She asked him to unleash his full power, hoping to live up to the challenge. Naofumi bound her in a shield prison and summoned the Iron Maiden, trapping her inside and shutting the cell for good. However, she destroyed it in an instant and descended back onto the ship. Just then, the ship rocked, and she realized that the wave was about to vanish. As she prepared to launch one final attack, Raphtalia cast a powerful light to blind her vision, allowing them to utilize the distraction and escape on Filo. However, just as they were hurrying farther away from the ship, light arrows began raining on them. Naofumi cast an air shield to block the rest of them. From the ship, Glass launched a glowing light sword, but Naofumi managed to shield it and parry it towards the mountains. Realizing she could not defeat them, Glass promised to annihilate them all next time. At that moment, she ascended into the portal and vanished instantly. Before long, the waves disappeared and the ghost ship crashed on the mountain. Raphtalia wondered if the village managed to survive. Later that day, after returning to the village, Naofumi remembered that a countdown had appeared on the system before the end of the waves and began to wonder why the waves even existed in the first place. Knowing for sure that they must grow stronger before the next one to save themselves from an instant death. With the Soul Eater skill now included in his shield, Naofumi wondered how he could upgrade Raphtalia and Filo to a higher class. At that moment, two knights appeared before him, telling him that the king was commanding him to come to the castle. Inside the castle, the king began telling him that he had seen the entire fight in his crystal ball and thought he deserved a little recognition. The king told him that he was too powerful for his own good and demanded to know how he became so strong. Sick of his arrogance, Naofumi told him to kneel before him and ask like a good servant. The king grew angry and ordered his knights to surround him, so Naofumi told them that he would destroy them like worthless garbage since their faces were worse than trash anyway. As he began to leave, the king threatened to eliminate Raphtalia and Filo, saying that they would pay for Naofumi's sins. Naofumi became very angry and threatened to destroy him if he ever did so, and finally left. As he started leaving the castle, he came across a lady who told him that he was becoming a wrecking force and warned him to be cautious of new enemies. That evening, after Naofumi arrived at the smith's shop, the smith wondered how they intended to upgrade their class. Revealing a map, he showed them a new city, saying that it was the best place to go for their upgrade. Just as they began riding off, Naofumi discovered a letter from the smith telling him that he had loaded their wagon with enough food to last them for weeks and added a shield accessory for his upgrade along with a sword for Raphtalia. That's it for today. Stay tuned for part 5 of our Rising of the Shield Hero review series. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the vast realms of anime. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for more thrilling reviews and discussions. Until next time, keep exploring the boundless wonders of anime with us.